Get Good.
Welcome to Get Good.
I just told them like a foul story that we're going to have to edit out.
They already saw it. They already know the story, bro.
And it's coming out, bro.
No, it has to be edited out for the safety of our viewers.
Just blur it.
For the safety of our viewers and the kids at home.
I'll mute it, so if you can read lips.
That's great.
Nah.
Gage and Tay are supposed to be here because they, topped the YCS in Vegas.
Nobody
One
can hear
third.
you.
They can hear me. I'm loud.
1/3. They were 1/3 of a top in Vegas.
I didn't top in Vegas.
We did.
That's a fact.
Somehow.
That's a fact. I'm going to say Gage was like, I don't think he was 1/3, bro. I think he was like 37%.
37?
Yeah, dude. I think I'm going to give him a little bit higher.
That's the biggest. Never mind. I can't make any jokes about. So, okay. I made an agreement. If you guys haven't seen the deck profiles, I think we talk about it in there. But I told Gage going in, I think it was like the last round of day one,
Yeah.
that if he wins out, because he was X1 on the day, if he wins out and we top the tournament, then I will never make a short joke to him again.
Guess what
And
happened?
unfortunately, well, I mean,
Unfortunately, it's
it depends on how
crazy.
you look at it. It's unfortunate that I can't make the short jokes anymore, but fortunately we topped, so
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's been very hard.
He's biting his tongue, dude, all the time.
Joe told me just to send him all the jokes so he could just rapid fire them at Gage the next time he sees him.
Every time like an intrusive thought comes in, you just text Joe. Nah, dude, Vegas was fun. We're gonna talk about that first. Vegas was super fun. Did not expect to go. He didn't expect to go. You guys already know that. We went last minute, and it was cool. It was really sweet. We topped. We had 5 people in top cut.
We did.
We had 2 people on the bubble. Ish. Or do we have 1 person on the bubble?
I don't
No,
know
it
who
was
we're
2.
talking about.
Clifton and Clifton. Did they lose the last round?
No. They were X2-1 going into day 2, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
I thought they lost in day 2. Well,
I think they
then we
lost
didn't
the
have
last round of day 1, I think.
Okay. Anyway, it was a very productive weekend. It was fun. I really thought, I don't know your thoughts on this. I really thought like going into Top Cut that we were going to win the event. I was like day 1, I wasn't super confident, but toward the end of day 1 and then starting day 2, like we were just sweeping. It was
to
crazy.
be fair, we lost round 1 and had a 9-match win streak in a row.
Yeah, and like the last like 4 or 5 rounds was like our whole team swept. Like
Yep.
three wins. It was probably more than 5 rounds. Like it was a lot. So
I know. I'm pretty sure it was after I switched sleeves.
his sleeves were rough. But no, like we were on such a crazy streak for a while, and I was like so confident going into day 2. I know all of us were.
Oh yeah.
So it was unfortunate that we lost top 16.
Gage was like, I think we're waiting on our Uber for day 2. And he's like, yeah, I've been in this situation before. I'm like, no, you haven't, Gage.
Yes, no,
He's
sir.
Like, he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you never had me on your team going into day 2. And guess what happened?
We topped.
We got a win a mat.
We did get a mat.
I guess we got a 3 win a mats.
3 win mats. And
And
some
some
sleeves.
sleeves.
And some sleeves.
The sleeves are sick.
The only 2 matches of the tournament that I lost were in, like, I only bricked 2 times in the tournament. It was the last round of the tournament and the first round of the tournament, and we lost both of those matches.
That's tough.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I bricked a lot, and I won a lot of the games that I bricked. Like, that deck was insane.
Shout out the ripping of the node.
Yeah, I will not be playing that deck anymore. The deck's so good, but it's just like, we don't jive, bro. I don't know what it is.
Can't handle the hands.
There's so many games that I drew Node and Lurie as my only 2 like engine cards and won. Like there were so many, and it was crazy.
There were so many times that like I really would, because it's kind of hard to judge the Fiendsmith Rysdale deck, because you get in like these grind games with Fiendsmith cards, either player could win.
Yeah.
And Gage would be like, he'd be playing his game, he'd be winning, I already won or whatever. He'd be like, so how's Luke looking over there? And I'd go, Just wouldn't say a word because that's none of his business. He don't need to be stressing about that. He needs to be focusing on his own match. Was that the correct thing to do? In my opinion, yes.
Yeah. Dude,
Because-
I was in the gutter.
Because if Luke was losing, the last person I'm telling is Gage. Because he is going to be stressing out.
And I think that stressed him out too, because after every round, Gage came up to me. He's like, "Look, you're stressing me out." And like, dude, every single round. And so I don't remember who it was, but somebody back home when we got home was like, "Dude, Gage was telling me, was it you?"
me.
Isaiah was like, "Gage was telling me that you were stressing him out the whole day." And I'm like, "Dude, past like round 4, I won every match." And he came up to me after every match and was like, "Dude, you're stressing me out." And I'm like, "Gage, I won the match."
Dude, it was so funny. There were so many times Gage would be like, "How's it looking over there, Logan?" I'd be like,
Don't worry about it.
no, I wouldn't say anything. I just leave one red.
Bro.
So he was just like, one time I said, "Don't worry about it." And he was like, "What do you mean don't worry about it? Play your game."
Dude, there was one game that it looked like Gage was like lose. It was the match he lost, right? It looked like Gage was losing, and he'd already won. And Gage is just like, "Well, how's it looking over there?" And Logan looks back and then just looks at my field because like me and Logan were like doing chess, like we were like doing math
Yes.
to try to like figure out how to win this game. That game was crazy.
That was also the same game that Gage goes, "Logan, I need your help." And I probably should have communicated this with him, but I just left him to the wolves at that point because there was no coming back. Like, his opponent had, like, full combo. Gage had, like, 2 cards, brother. This dude had, like, 3 cards in hand. I'm like, you're not winning. Like, I literally looked over and I was just like,
Nope.
there's no help, and I'm focusing on this match. And then Gage is like, "Logan, I need your help." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Gage."
That sucks.
Yeah, we won that match though, so that was good.
We did.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like, I wanted to focus on that match, and I didn't want to, like, break my concentration from that match to help an unwinnable game state that was, like, pointless.
There was so many like wild game states though. Like Gage had at one point strike, judgment, plug-in detonator or something as his field.
With cross. Yeah, it was
with
full
cross.
call. It was
It
full
was
combo.
crazy with 4 solemn traps. And I don't know. There was like a game, not like they'd already won. Me and my opponent were playing, and I had like, I go pass, and he's like, his people were leaving. He's like, "What do you have? Can I play through it?" And I like flipped cross out judgment, and I had like detonator, Desiree, and Caesar on field with field spell, and he's just like, "Dear God." Like,
What is that?
there were some wild games, man.
We, there were some crazy plays, too, man. Like, there was one match where we tribute summoned Lancia, and it was, like, exactly what we needed to do to win.
Yeah, that was crazy.
There was, like, I don't know. There was, like, because I was, like, sitting there. I remember Gage was, like, he had, like, a detonator and a, what was it? A Dugaris that had no materials, and he had cross, but he had no car. He had, like, Lancia, Ash Blossom in hand. And he was playing pure, by the way, pure Rizil.
Yeah.
And he was, like, his opponent had, like, something in attack position. I think it was a Caesar or whatever. And Gage is like, "Do I just attack and pass?" And I'm like, because he's playing against Feedsmith Banlist. And I was like, "Well, Gage, if you do that, you just lose to his Feedsmith follow-up." And I was like, "Well, hold on. You might need to crash." And I'm like, "Well, he has Caesar, so he can't do that." So I sit there and thought for a second. I'm like, "Gage, I got the line. Beat over with Detonator, hit him for 12, so it puts him lower in life, which we still had like a decent amount of time, but
Yeah.
it could be a factor. Overlay into Eclipse Twins, tribute summon Lancia, because it can still tribute off the field. Then trigger, bring back Duo Drive, resolve Duo Drive, and we ended on like Dweller, Detonator, Duo Drive, Lancia on board with like Ash in hand. And I told him, I was like, if he could beat this with 2 cards, then
We don't deserve to
God
win.
couldn't help us. Like, I told Gage, and the dude started dying.
Yeah,
There were some cool plays.
there were, man. I, on the way home, thought about the event a lot because me and Alex had a long way home. So I was thinking about the event a lot. And I came to the conclusion that for this event, and you guys tell me what like your opinion on this is if you were at Vegas. I think for this event, looking back, I don't think I would have made Caesar a single time.
I think Caesar sucks.
I do too. So I think we both correct me if I'm wrong, went into the event thinking that the correct play is still to make Caesar. I, like 3/4 of the way through the event, decided that is not the correct play. Most everything in the game outs it. Actually, all weekend, I didn't resolve it a single time. And I think Joe said that he also didn't resolve it a single time. And in almost every situation that it got instantly outed, if I'd have made Desiree instead, I would have won the match. Or I won most of the matches anyway, but I would have won that game. A lot of game ones, I would make Caesar, and it would just get instantly outed. And in almost all of those situations, if I'd have made Desiree instead and played the Fiendsmith line as the Fiendsmith line, as opposed to making the Xyz, it would have probably won me that game.
So I think the issue with it is all of the cards that out Caesar, or all the cards out they're also out Caesar.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like
collateral damage.
Collateral damage, yeah. And I think that at Orlando that necessarily wasn't the case because people were still trying to hand trap, they're trying to do this, but now they're like people are playing more of a mix with like Metal Trotuses, Ultimate Slayers. Ultimate Slayer was super popular.
It was.
And I think like at Orlando, Caesar was correct because A, there was more mirrors, but also B, you wanted the Feedsmith follow-up to be able to grind back and forth with your opponent.
Yeah.
The issue is right now, since Pure's like most of the time you're going to play against Pure Ryzel, I think.
Yeah.
It's the most popular deck. And I think if they breaker your Caesar, sure, you could trap them or whatever, but they're always going to dweller you after that.
Yep.
So I think the only time you're supposed to Caesar now, not the only time, but the main time you're supposed to Caesar now is when you can put the Desiree in the grave to summon back with...
Yeah, like the full combo.
Yeah. Because like it just
agree.
gets hit with all these breakers, man, and it just...
Yeah. It's awful. And I was kind of keeping track mentally as we were playing, and the things that were outing my Caesar would not have outed a Desiree if it were a Desiree.
Right.
Like Imperm Caesar, Metal Tronus Caesar, Ultimate Slayer Caesar, like basically anything that outs it doesn't out Desiree because it can't be targeted because of sequence. So I think that for that event, and I don't know about for Houston, but I'm thinking probably also for Houston, just as an extension because it's going to be a very similar format. I think that's probably, if I were going, what I would be doing is playing more into the Fiendsmith turn one as opposed to just ending on like the safer quote unquote play of Caesar to block Nib and just help negate a couple of interactions from your opponent.
Caesar's also safer to X'd.
Yeah.
As well. And I think X'd is like the main starter people start with right now. So I think your inboard has to respect X now. Whereas before, you could like be a little soft to X'd because like, you know, there were just so many decks.
Yeah.
But I feel like the format has narrowed now than what it did pre-Tachyon being released.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. We still did incredible. In my opinion, I'm very proud of Gage, especially.
Shout out Guud.
Yeah, we still ended well besides losing in top 16. But I think reflecting back on the tournament, that's definitely what I would change as far as what I was doing. And I think that's probably what's more objectively correct, especially since a lot less people were playing Nibiru at this event.
All right, I'm giving you guys the goo for YCS Houston.
Let's hear it.
It's not really the goo. I think it's pretty. So no one else has agreed with me on this. This is the reason I'm telling you all this, because this is my opinion. And I've talked to like the boys. None of them, they're like, no, Malice is the same place that it has been. I think Malice for Houston is like really well positioned. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not that I think that its matchups necessarily have become better. But I think the non-engine people are playing. I think going into Houston, Pure is going to be so hated on. And all the cards that destroy Pure, Droid Lockbird, Ultimate Slayer, Metal Trotus, all those cards are so bad into Malice. They're so bad. They're like literally blanks. Like you're hand looping yourself most of the time.
Yeah, Metaltron is the best one, and they have to play a bad card in their deck.
And sometimes it doesn't even do anything.
Yeah.
So I think for Houston, I think Malice has like a very good chance of winning the event. Obviously, it's the deck I would have played. But like if you're having like second decisions if you should play Malice, dude, just run it. Play the deck. I think the deck's so good, especially if you know it well. And I think this tournament, like through the non-engine, it's gonna be really good.
Mm-hmm.
also, a second point. I think the card for Houston will be this little dude right here.
Perulia.
I think I should have signed this card for the event. I've been trying to, I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to get the boys to main deck this card, but no one's listening to me, so I'm giving you guys the go. If you guys want to main deck it, I say do it. I know it sounds crazy, but like this card I think is even decent into Banlist because like they're playing Bestials, they're playing, it's minimum Upstart Goblin most of the time.
Yeah.
And then against everything else, it's like really good. So.
And the thing, in my head, the thing about those cards in general are not how many cards you can plus off of them. It's the pressure it puts on your opponent. It's the floodgate.
Another thing that this thing does is it's a Metal Shoulders target for Toad, which is random upside. So
that's a fact.
A lot of people think Toad's getting banned.
It might get banned, to be honest. That or Bahamut Shark or something.
Leave my frogs alone.
Leave Mermaid alone.
I mean, Toad is probably the best negate that we've had. But the problem is you just can't make it, right? It's just very hard to make. I don't think Toad should be banned if they do hit something. I think Bahamut Shark's the lame card because you're like cheating out the Toad. It's not like...
Bahamut Shark's definitely the lame card. If you can make Totally Awesome with frogs, by all means, please. Or with trap cards.
If they ban Bahamut, Sprite's the only deck that can make Toad now, right?
Yeah, I think it would be cool if they unban Rodent Toaded and then ban Bahamut Shark. So like Toad, maybe hit Toad to 1 or something. So there's not like
that would give Sprite such a power boost though.
I mean, why not? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like it'd be good.
You know what I mean? Like Sprite folds to this card.
Yeah,
really bad.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Sprite being back in the format wouldn't be a bad thing. I think
it's like semi-playable in Master Duel.
Dude, I lost to it at a regional recently.
That's good.
So besides the goo for Vegas, what do you, or not for Vegas, for Houston? Another thing, you guys competed in an event, and I also competed in an event, but there were 2 different events on the same weekend.
2 different games.
2 different games. Bob was, I guess you could call it a game. Whatever.
I heard you were in the trenches, bro.
Yeah, we competed in the Duelist Cup. We tried it,
first time trying it.
And my experience was
misery.
It wasn't miserable, man. It was just like, so I was playing, and like my games were like, I would do pretty well, and then I would just like lose to Tempai Dragons, and then you would just like lose to Tempai Dragons again. But then you would like for example, I tried to play the Tempai Dragon deck, and then I would run into some dude main decking Anti-Spell Fragrance, people main decking Judgment, people main decking, like I'm not talking about like in Labyrinth, I'm talking about in like Snake Eye, or like in White Forest. But that deck's really cool.
I go first and I see this card, it's game.
Are they're best of 1s though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta main deck it, bro.
You just it's just like, I don't know, man. I had a good time, but I also realized that the format that we're in right now in the TCG is significantly better than their format. Like, holy, I don't even care about the backseat stuff. Like, people can say backseat, whatever. I don't care about that card. Like, it doesn't bother me at all to get backseat or whatever. Like, it's going to happen because you also have it in your deck. What I don't like is playing basically just Nats format, but weaker. And then it's best of 1, so you're playing against Dirtle playing Tempai Dragons.
Dirtle.
And I can't handle that. Please, Malice and Rise will release on that, so like all those decks can just stop being played.
Yeah, that's very fair.
I played Steakhouse format for a year, and we did the World's Grind, and it was horrible.
And now you're doing it again for the World's Grind.
Yes, 2 years in a row. Please, Steakhouse Ash,
I don't
go
know, man.
somewhere.
Herman won it, and he didn't even play those decks.
He did. He played Steakhouse.
He played Ritual Beast and
the Millennium Snake Eye deck.
Millennium Snake Eye deck. Yeah.
That's the version that they play.
I forgot it was Millennium Snake Eye.
Which the Millennium Snake Eyes deck is cooler than regular Snake Eyes. You got to do some plays, but like,
still Snake Eye.
It has Snake Eyes Ash.
Yes. I started with the White Forest deck at first because I just did not want to play Snake Eyes, but ended up still playing Snake Eyes.
The old clown posted yesterday that he wants 3 Snake Eyes Ash and 3 OSS back.
The old clown.
Who's the clown?
I'm gonna edit that out. I'm gonna edit out the name. I ain't giving that guy clout.
Please don't.
There's no way, bro.
You guys also entered an event that was.
We call him a clown, though. I'm down for that.
When we say his name, just put a honks.
No, that'll be the name of the video.
So
Blank equals clown. Get good. Number 45.
We did play an event.
So they played an event, and I want to start with mine because mine was just not very fun. But apparently theirs was really fun.
Our event was great.
It was fun.
We went to the Elestrals Open. I know this is a YuGiOh podcast, but you have heard me, Logan, talk about Elestrals a lot.
I was supposed to be there.
And he was supposed to be there. This weekend was the first Elestrals in-person premier event. It was in Dallas, called the Dallas Open. It capped at 192 players. And if I'm not mistaken, there was 192 players there, and there was over 200 players there waiting to get in, but they couldn't. Like, there was like 180 people actually showed up, and then the wait list was people that was like going in, filling up the slots like you didn't show up, and there was over 200 players that came for the wait list.
There were, I think they said there were like over 200 spectator badges.
It was 208, yeah. And all those people wanted to play, so like they didn't have enough room to play for all those people, but it could have been 500 people in this event, which is really good for, first person event. But the event, like, the only complaints I had about the event was the one vendor. There was only one vendor. Location was kind of mid. Dallas is way better than Fort Worth.
Isaiah loves Dallas.
Shout out Curry.
For freaking like 4 years, man, Isaiah's been like, that was 2018, 7 years. Isaiah's been like, Texas sucks. I hate Texas. The only good thing about Texas
I will go to Dallas, okay? I like Dallas.
Dude, he looked at me one day. I'm not going to say why, but he looked at me one day and he's like, maybe I misjudged Texas.
Maybe I just hate Fort Worth. Shout out Curry.
It was the women.
But he likes Texas, bro. He likes Texas a lot now.
I like Dallas. But yeah, the event was great. A-Drive is doing great things.
I think he watches the podcast. I said like halfway through the event, I was like, I think he watches the podcast,
Dude, okay,
bro.
so we have talked about it like 3 or 4 times about how we think that YuGiOh should make a prize pack that is for premier events only. For if you top a YCS, you can only get those packs that way. And by God, at the event, in the opening ceremony, they said, here are our premier packs.
No, it was
The closing ceremony, whatever. You can only get these packs for topping a premier event. Shout out the Guudcast. Just saying. And it was great, man. He gave out, he did the opening ceremony, and he started showing off cards that come out of the set in like 2 months, and everyone was freaking out about them, and he was like, do you guys like those cards? Well, guess what? Everybody's getting packs, and he started handing out packs to everybody.
One of the most hyped things I've ever seen at a card game event actually is that.
Yeah.
Where he was like, it was like opening ceremony, and which is just basically him thanking everybody for coming and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, and then he like released info about a couple new cards in the new set. And then he was like, and why don't we kick this off right and give everybody in the room a pack of the new set that comes out in 2 months?
That was also right after he announced that we're going to have Divine packs, which are the equivalent to God packs.
Yeah.
It was like, we're getting Divine packs where you can open, all your cards are going to be Stellars. Let's give it a try. Here's everybody some packs. And they just had 5 or 6 people open boxes and walk around handing each other a pack. It was actually really cool. Insane.
I think YuGiOh could learn something from that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think we could give out 2 months in advance. Yeah. That's a little, But I think it would be cool if an event came out a week before a structure deck or a week before whatever. And at that event, you could get the product that's how stuff getting leaked. That's how players holding a QCR White Rabbit is how it got leaked or whatever. That'd be cool.
It'd be so sick. Or a cool thing for YuGiOh would be I think they've done this before where they have the character duels in Nats and they start showing off new cards. Mm-hmm. They could do that. That'd be pretty sick. I'm pretty sure they've done that before.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
It's usually for Nats though.
Yeah. Well, they could do it at YCS too.
It's cool. I think it was really fun. I went into the event not knowing how to play the game.
Taught them on Friday.
If you guys want to pick up an extra game, of course, I'm always the Weiss Force guy. I say go with that. But if you don't want to go with that because you think it's a little too weeby, this one's pretty good.
This game is incredible.
This game is very easy and it's fun.
Very easy game too. Very cheap.
It is cheap.
I think if you like older YuGiOh, you'll like it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I have not taught anyone this game and them not like it.
Yeah.
Everyone I have introduced this game to, even people like Logan who was skeptical on it, really enjoy the game.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I like it for the competitive aspect. So, it's I guess technically a competitive podcast. I think the game has elements that no other game that I've ever played has. For example, your life is your mana, and like so the way you play cards is you pay life, which is a concept in Yu-Gi-Oh. You use your your life as a resource, especially in older Yu-Gi-Oh. New Yu-Gi-Oh, you kind of just die in one shot, but even for Banlist, it's almost like a mana system for Banlist.
Yeah,
it's very similar. I think it's cool.
It is a really cool concept that you have like a mana deck like you do in like One Piece or like whatever, but you can access all if you're able to burn all of it in one turn, you can.
I did that.
And it's really cool. So that is your mana and it is your life. They go hand in hand. And there's no mana restrictions like there are in other games, which I think is really cool.
You can play any color you want.
Yeah.
That is
multiple colors.
That is also a really cool thing. The mana is not colorless. It has colors, but you can cast any card with any color mana. It's just if you cast it with the wrong color mana, it doesn't have an effect. So like let's say you summon a like big monster, you can summon it with any mana, but it just will be a vanilla.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is cool because sometimes that's relevant to gameplay. Sometimes you can do like cool things in game with that, and sometimes you just don't have the right mana. Right?
There's like cards like Tsunami is like a really popular card that says pay 1 water to switch all non-water enchanted cards to defense. So like if you summon a big guy and you can put a water on him, then he can't be flipped. And you just keep
so you can like play around certain cards. I think that part's really cool. I think they need to explore that more about like printing, like maybe removal that says destroy target non-earth or whatever. That way, so people can play around it. By I don't know. I think that's like the way. That's like one of like the next level things you can do about the game.
They got a lot of time. I posted today that set 55 is coming out in 2043 or something. So we got some time.
That was a funny post. It is cool.
So, Banlist.
There were some murmurs about it at the YCS. We got some leaks. People were saying, "Oh, it was happening after the event." There were some people that were like, "Yeah, Konami rep told us." I don't know. They're probably just lying, because it didn't happen.
A Konami employee or judge or something could have told them, but I was like, whenever people were saying that to me, I'm like, dude, there's just no way. Like, I really did not think that it was happening there. It didn't. But I've said on here, and I still think it's happening in Houston. I really do.
Yeah.
But I could be proven wrong.
It's about 2 weeks.
I mean, they could have planned to do it at Vegas, and then, like, since it wasn't being a live stream, they're like, we'll just push it back a little bit.
That could be the case, for sure.
I think the game's pretty healthy right now.
Yeah.
The card I would want to see banned the most, and I think the card that should be banned is Cross, Rizal Cross.
No, leave him alone.
That is the card that's the problem. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah. I think without Cross, I don't think the Rizal board is good enough. And I think that
it's not.
I think Cross breaks game mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I don't think cards like that should exist.
You can't I hate it. Like I can't stand it. All the other cards that do similar things to it are mandatory.
Yeah,
it's optional. That's a problem.
I
just don't like it.
Do you think though? So I personally don't think they are gonna hit Cross. At least not now. Do you think that
they will either?
Do you think the deck exists? If they did hit Cross right now, do you think the deck still exists,
or
do you think it's just a supplementary engine?
Yeah,
because I feel like it's just an engine.
I think you have to splash it with something else. I think Pure is pretty bad.
Yeah, like Pure is awful without Cross. In my opinion, I mean it's a deck still, but it's like without Cross, it has basically no stable going first.
I mean,
and it has no recursion.
Detonator is a broken card. It's completely warped the format around it, similar to like a Rise Heart.
Yeah. But it's not a stable card. It's a card that if your opponent top decks Imperm, you just lose. And I mean, that's similar, I guess, to you being in a similar situation if Cross was on the field, but Cross has that extra layer.
I mean, definitely if you compare a Rise Heart and Detonator, I definitely think a Rise Heart's better because it like completely stops a game mechanic.
And banishes face down and re-equips material.
That card's never coming back.
And fuels itself, basically.
Yeah. It's insane.
I think, though, I think the problem with Rizal is Cross. I don't think that's what they're going to do. They're probably going to hit X'd, which I think they should hit Ice. I don't think they should hit X'd.
The reason being that's the one that doesn't lock you.
Yeah, well, that and Star, which is the new one, allows you to set Cross from your deck. And it only does it on special summon, so you need Ice for that. And I think that's a problem because the main choke point for Rizal right now is duo drive.
Yeah.
And whenever Star comes out, that just changes.
Yeah.
You just have to stop their names.
The deck gets so much more resilient after that card comes out. It's insane. Everybody's saying, like, and I agree, Malice is going to be insane.
It's going to be good.
When they get their new support. But Rizal is going to be the exact same as it is now, except with no hard choke point, which is insane.
I think, so you guys can rewind this back whenever we get Alliance Insight. You guys could see if I'm right or wrong. I think for the first event of Alliance Insight, so that will be Rhode Island, I think. I think Malice will be the most targeted deck, and I think it will do worse than Rizal. Barring a Banlist, one of them doesn't get slaughtered, whatever. I think that some people are going to focus on Malice because everyone's like, oh my gosh, Malice is tier 0, which I do not think that's true at all. Unless, like, a Banlist happens and Rizal's completely dead or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think Rizal, if you do not, like, focus on that deck and punish it, I think you're going to lose a lot of games to it. And I think it's just as good as Malice, like, still, even after that set.
Well, it's just Star opens up so much, and especially we have 7th Tachyon now too, which just adds more consistency to that deck. And the problem why people weren't playing it before is consistency issues. And Star also, if you do get to Duo Drive, if you do resolve Duo Drive, you can search your node and your field spell, and then you can Star set plug-in. Or set something else. It's like you can. It gives you so many more layers.
It makes the trap a lot better because you don't have to always search cross. You could set it, and then you could search for the trap and give yourself an additional interruption.
Exactly. It makes you be able to play the deck so much more efficiently. It's really cool. So I am really looking forward to that card coming out.
I'm playing Malice regardless. But I thought that was interesting. But Banlist wise. I think Malice and Rizal need to be touched somehow. Whether it's an indirect hit, a direct hit. I think Bonfire needs to go to Wood. I think hopefully Dormouse doesn't go to Wood. I know a lot of people have talked about that. I don't think that should happen, but if it did, I think the deck's still playable. Yeah. I think X will probably go to Wood. That's pretty much the hit that everyone's expecting.
What if they pull another Snake Eyes format?
They just don't hit it. Just like indirect hit it, like the hint the Fiendsmith cards.
That's in the back of my mind. Like what I kind of half expect is hit the Fiendsmith cards, hit the Bestials, hit all the like little supplementary stuff.
Maybe like a lure or something.
Yeah, and then leave the decks basically completely alone. Maybe hit an extra deck card in Rizal. I don't know what it would be. Like hit I don't know.
Talking about a lure, that card probably should be hit.
Yeah.
Because
card's insane.
The card is like on paper, if you're doing like a in a vacuum combo, you don't need the card because in your combo you're gonna go through all 3 of your names, right?
Yeah.
That's just whatever. But in a tournament, having a deck that has 3 pot of greens in your deck that helps you dig for side deck cards, dig for blowout.
And start.
Yeah, and it helps you start and extend. I think is a little too much. It's a very good tournament card, especially when you have an in-engine pot of green anyways. You're drawing 4, 6, 7 cards sometimes turn 1.
Yeah. Well, even if you have one allure, you can draw 5 cards. You allure, and then you cat, and then you draw off White Binder? Is that the one that draws? Yeah. It's like, that's 5 cards. That's insane.
Yep. So I think that card might go to Wood because... That's one thing Vegas has taught me is I really, like, if you guys looked at my deck list, I played Eclipse and I played Metal Trotus and I played Triple Allure. And the reason I did that is just to try to draw board breakers into the Rizal deck. I thought it was really good because, like, you don't have to open up your 6-card hand. So when you would resolve Allure, after opening your 6-card hand, you had like an 80-something% chance of drawing a board breaker if you didn't have it in your hand. I think I included Impermanent to that.
Yeah,
and
insane.
it was really good. Like, and I think that probably shouldn't be a thing. But if they don't hit these decks very hard, I wouldn't be that upset. But I'd feel really bad for someone who doesn't want to play Malice or Rizal, though.
Yeah, same. To be fair, though, now the decks do get a lot more powerful after Alliance Insight. But right now, I mean, it seems like other decks, at least at a non-YCS level, can compete. Like we see,
I saw the Odeon deck won the Philly regional. I think it's Philly.
Exactly. We have a couple of ABC popping up. We've got that. We got Odeon. We've got Blue Eyes is in the meta. Don't get me wrong, but that is also an option. There's a bunch of decks that can compete right now, which is cool. It's just there's an obviously defined two to three best decks.
Yeah,
two best decks, then Blue Eyes.
Yeah, I think Blue Eyes is like pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty. And dude, you got to respect it because it can win. It beat us round 1 at the YCS.
And it's also top cut. Yeah, it has a really good It has a really good Rizal matchup, but its Malice matchup is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be fair though, he played against 4 or 5.
Yeah.
He won all the rest. It's yeah, I don't know. You got to respect it, but yeah, there are very clearly 2 defined best decks.
I think for cards coming off the list, I think Block Dragon should come to Wood.
To me.
I think and Brilliant Fusion should come to Wood.
I agree with both of those, and I also want Masterpiece to 1.
Oh yeah, Masterpiece should be at 3 by now. Like
it came to 3 in the OCG this list, and I really want it's at a point with Masterpiece where the only protection is I get it, it's insane, but from card effects, you can attack over it with Detonator. You can do it you can
it's
kill
only
it
unaffected by things that are lower level than it too. So leaks get around that.
Yep.
So
it's like it is not an unkillable card anymore, but it would drive innovation in decks. I personally think, at least in like the tier 2 decks, and Brilliant Fusion would also, I think, drive innovation in some decks
especially
as well.
when we're coming across like getting close to Nats format.
Yeah.
With the Gym Dot cards being released, those cards are really good. Like that deck is actually good. Especially if it has all of its pieces, which is 1 Block Dragon and Brilliant Fusion.
Yeah.
Brilliant Fusion's not like necessary for any of the combos, but it's like drawing Instant Fusion in tier. It's like super powerful.
It's really good.
You know what I mean?
Just give it to 1.
Yeah, that's all they need.
Yeah.
1. I think 3 would be a little bit too much, but what's a good number?
I think though.
Get to 1.
I think Kit could go to 1.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, so the Duelist Cup tier is, I think Sheeran is at 2, Havness is at 1, Burley's banned. Field Spell's banned, but they have Kit Kalos legal, and that deck is not like oppressive at all. And I think Kit could probably come to 1. I don't think it would.
I think if it comes to 1, they can't They can't ban Dweller though.
Why?
I just.
Oh, you just have so many Bestials. Now, if they hit all the Bestials, then do that, it might be a bad idea. But I think.
Or sorry, I meant to say if. Yeah, they have to leave Dweller if that comes back, because they have to give like the decks like Raziel a way to like play against it, right?
Do they need to though? I mean, I think Raziel should have a counter personally.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like
they should keep Dweller. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying I think Raziel.
There should be a counter too.
Oh, you're saying that they should.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
And I think Tier would. Well, I mean, people would play it obviously, and I think it would be a decent deck. And I think Wood Kit Kalos isn't going to make it a Tier 0 deck or anything, and I think they should do that for sure. I think Dweller should be bad though, regardless if they do that or not. Personally.
Yeah, I don't like blanket effects.
I think it's just like I think that, and like we were talking about Toad, we're talking about Bahamut Shark. I think the Mermail deck's a little toxic.
I was gonna say before we got fully into cards that we want to come back, what do we think's happening with the Mermail deck?
Nothing.
I think Minstrel would help.
That's what I told DJ was going to hit.
If they just wanted to ban one card and not kill the deck at all, Minstrel ban was like.
A lot of people think that's going to be Mullen Glacier or Toad. I think Minstrel's the right hit. That's what I was telling DJ they were going to hit.
I mean, if they it protects your nib then, right?
Yeah.
And that's like the problem is nib's like most of the time dead against that deck unless you pair it with like two other hand traps.
Yeah.
And I get that it doesn't have a lot of tops and it's not like super prevalent in the format, but Konami has in the past been known to limit decks that are really, really powerful, even if they're not seeing play, to kind of make way for the other decks to do well. Like, you don't want to go to an event and just be terrified that one round you're going to get hand looped by Mermail, but be super prepared for the event, going in like your deck's perfect, and then just get blown out by an unfair deck, even if like it's not getting a lot of tops. So I feel like something's going to happen.
I think the deck's good. I think it's top 5 decks in the game right now.
I think so. I agree with you. I think the deck's really good, and I think that people don't know how to play against it. I think it's very hard to play against because all their stuff dubs for cost.
That new guy's insane. Whatever the dude is that bounces a card, that guy's incredible.
The level 7's broken.
Yeah, he's insane.
I don't think they need to hit Dragoons to 1. I think they hit Dragoons to 1. The deck's just bad.
Dead. Yeah,
It's just not a good deck. I think Minstrel Ban is probably the best hit.
Yeah, it doesn't kill the deck, but it makes the deck less resilient.
Well, I mean, it just allows you to be able to hand trap.
Well, like people are like maining 1 Minstrel, siding 2, and it's like adding 3 copies of Call by the Grave when you're going first. That's literally what it is. It's better, yeah. Because they side in that plus Call by the Grave. So
you pretty much have to open Charbies against that's the only counter to it.
And they're starting their turn with 4 Call by the Graves.
Sod Lancia against the Mermail deck, which I don't think is a good idea.
No. And the Molcharmies are really good against it. Droll is also really good against it.
I've seen a lot of people complaining about the Charbies.
Dude,
I love them.
Yeah, they're good.
I think they're fun.
I don't think they're toxic. I think they put pressure, man. Like we were talking about earlier, how like Purelia puts so much pressure on your opponent. I think that's
it's the thing. So Maxi, the reason Maxi was so oppressive is because it puts so much pressure on your opponent. It's not because it draws you cards. It's because it made your opponent not be able to continue their turn because it would draw you cards. And the Molcharmies do the same thing, except with only 2 game mechanics. Like 2 ways to draw cards.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess you could do if you're saying activate 2 of them, yeah.
I'm talking. Well, I guess Purelia is just from hand, but I meant like
deck extra deck.
Yeah, deck extra
the graveyard.
Deck.
Whereas Maxi covers everything.
Yeah, Maxi covers everything, whereas these cover 2 things. I guess Purelia covers 1 thing, but deck extra deck, grave banished, or hand. So it's like it puts pressure, but still allows your opponent to potentially be able to play. It's like when you see a Maxi, you know you ain't playing for the rest of the turn. Basically, when you see a Purelia, it's like, look at your hand, reevaluate. Oh, I can play my turn in a way that gives my opponent 1 draw or 2 draws, and I can live with that.
There are some decks that Purelia and Fawallos like
slaughter.
But like a lot of those decks, a lot of those decks are generally most of the time toxic decks.
Yeah. 100%.
Or like very like just unfun decks to play against usually. So it's like,
and it's like, Maxi, you literally, I mean, Fawallos would do the same thing. Don't get me wrong, but like back in the day, it's like you're playing Burning Abyss and you tour guide, they Maxi, and that's a minimum of 2 draws, and it's like that sucks because like that's extremely oppressive.
Could you imagine Purelia against? I mean, like
God,
reveal,
shotgun pass.
No, reveal BA Chain Purelia. Oh my God,
dude, I don't know. I still am a firm believer that they are going to, at some point, make every hand trap a Molcharmy or a Dominus card, like style S card, where like you can only activate them certain times or like all that stuff, and then get rid of the rest of them. It's like people for the past like 4 or 5 years have been complaining about hand traps. It's like if they make every hand trap where you can only activate 2 hand traps a game or a turn, or it locks you out of a complete archetype or whatever. Like I think that's what they're going to end up doing over time.
Maybe. I mean, okay. So obviously, Konami wants us to play with hand traps, or they wouldn't print hand traps. The only issue I have with that is, it makes the decks that want to play board breakers suck.
Yeah, they got to be extremely broken decks like Tempai was.
I mean, even then, like they played, like Tempai would made 6 Charbies, 3 Shifter, like just like the Floodgate hand traps.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for a while, and I think the fix to that is, and please, Konami, please do this, designing decks in a way that your deck's engine has to be 30 cards. Like, I think that would solve that issue so fast. Ryziel, you need 12 cards. Malice, you need what? 15 cards?
I think I play 20 something on engine.
Yeah, so it's like if your engine had to be 30 cards, and you can print them as commons and supers, like you don't have to like juice us like 15 secrets or something, but it's like if your engine had to be big, every deck couldn't be playing 20 to 25 hand traps. Like, I think that hand traps being in the game isn't the problem. I think you should have the option, but I think it's that they want every deck to be so hyper efficient now. They're doing it in such a way that you have the room to play all this stuff that I don't think you should be able to.
Yeah, and if they made your engine so big but gave them all the mechanics of being able to play around cards or play through boards and all that stuff, then, like, yeah, I can see that.
One thing I appreciate right now is the diversity on inboards.
Yeah.
So, like, during Steakhouse format, if you were playing against Tipai, you were playing against Apollo, you were playing against IP to SP, you were playing against all of the same
Every deck you
cards.
played against did the exact same thing.
Yeah, it didn't matter if you were playing against Rescue Ace, Memento, whatever. They all.
I remember
made the
you
same
having the
cards.
conversation with me, asking me, why are you playing the deck that does the exact same thing worse? Like,
Yeah, that was the thing about that format is Snake Eye just did the thing.
But now
more
with like
efficiently.
Malice has their inboard. Like, it looks completely different than Rizil's or Burbells or Blue Eyes. Like, that's how I think Yu-Gi-Oh should be.
Yeah.
I think you should pick, like, each deck should have like a strong suit and like not just be able to link clob blindly, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I think part of what covers up like the uniqueness of decks is every deck playing the same 20 non-engine cards. Like, I think that's insane. That you have the option to do that pretty much. So I want to get.
I think the Dominus cards
there.
help with that though.
They do, and that's what he was saying. I just think that the solution is make decks bigger, make decks engines bigger.
I mean, I'm all about big engines because usually big engines you have to play a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
For some reason right now, even though the engines are smaller, there's a lot of back and forth in games. Even as a Malice player, there's a lot of back and forth, and I think that's like something Yu-Gi-Oh misses, like a lot. Like, I would love if every game went 5 turns, 6 turns, which sounds like a little to some card games, but to Yu-Gi-Oh,
I don't know.
that's a
You know
long,
what game
that's a
does
long
that?
match.
It does it pretty well. Celestials.
That is, but that's not Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's true. That's true.
Celestials is interesting, man. Not to get off on a tangent, but it's like your opponent can have one card in hand. You can have like a full board presence, and then they draw again, and beat you. And it's like it's crazy.
You can actually come back, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually come back from big board states from Yu-Gi-Oh. You can, but it's basically a miracle from God, you know. But no, I think that Yu-Gi-Oh has taken a step in the right direction with every deck having its strong suit right now. Like, we have Blue Eyes that has a completely different play style than Malice that has a completely different play style from Rizio. They play different cards. Almost no extra deck has overlapping cards currently.
Maybe SP.
It's like SP,
Some people are playing Detonator for
IP. Every deck plays Detonator.
for Metaltronus.
But that's a different issue.
That's not to summon. Yeah, it's like it's cool. They've taken a step in the right direction. I think they just need to push a little bit further over that edge to make Yu-Gi-Oh great again.
And if they don't, we summon Eddie.
We summon Eddie anyway, baby.
That's true.
It's funny that I was looking at my extra deck after the tournament, after Vegas, and I was like, started laughing because I summoned Detonator more than some of my other extra deck cards, and I physically could not actually make it in my deck.
Metaltronus.
Dude, Metaltronus is crazy.
That card's getting rebranded soon.
Oh yeah, it'll be 25th. I found mine finally though. If you guys don't know, I lost my Metaltronus. They were on a trip.
Who had him?
Oh, they were just in a box at my house.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
I pulled at you.
I'm known for that.
Isaiah be losing stuff a lot.
ADHD at its finest.
I think so. Going back to the ban list, I think it would be cool if Malice or Rizzo didn't get hit and we got to see them at full power for like one tournament.
Pretty cool.
And then like if they think that like let's say it's like at Rhode Island, they're like a ton of Rizzo, a ton of Malice. They're like, okay, let's tweak these a little bit, and then like if that makes sense, like an emergency list.
My like dream thing that happens is that they release a ban list Big Papi Yami. I want them to release a ban list for at Houston, for Rhode Island, and not touch either of the decks. Just inadvertently hit the decks. I want to see them at full power, but the ban list should say we won't, or this list, what does it say? The next list won't be before this date.
Yeah, like
and
no
the date
sooner
be
than-
like middle of June. You know what I mean?
Like right before Nats.
Yeah, so it's like they don't have to release a list, but
That's what they used to do.
they could right before Nats if they think that the decks need to be or like dialed back a little bit before Nats. I think that's what would be really cool to happen.
Nats
I don't know,
is usually really powerful though.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like,
That is true.
I feel like they announce YCS a year in advance now. Like, we have the rest of the year's YCS announced already. I feel like they could get a system together to be like at Rhode Island or Houston, they announce a ban list and say the next change to the ban list will be at YCS Anaheim or whatever. And then even if they don't change anything, like, or the next update to the ban list could be at this or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that they're doing it at events, I feel like that would just stop so much drama in the community,
So
man.
I thought of this. I think this would be kind of cool. So you know how like at one time they voted for structured X or like TCG exclusive cards. What if they did that before a ban list? Like,
That would be so
what card
sick.
do you guys want to see unbanned on the next Forbidden Limited list? And they just had a poll, and the card that had the most got unbanned.
That would go so
There's too many
bad so
trolls in the
fast,
game, bro.
bro.
There's too many trolls.
Tell me that would be cool.
It
What
would
do you
be
think the
cool.
first card unbanned would be?
It would be
Maxi.
really cool.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, it'd probably be
think it would
Max C.
be.
You really think it
I
would
think
be?
it'd be
I think it
Painful
would be.
Choice or Max C.
Painful choice. Fun fact: I have played a tournament with painful.
Those are
choice
the
in my deck
two
before.
most cards that are like, I think can never come off the ban list.
Delinquent Duo.
That wouldn't be that big of a deal.
We're on the ban list. When are you getting that tattoo?
When I have money. I still got to get the Guud project.
It's gonna be a long time, boys.
I'm broke.
It's gonna be a long time. So, comment section down below. What card would you vote for to be off the ban list if this hypothetical?
Off the ban list.
Yeah, off the ban list. It could be at 1 to go to 3. It could be banned, preferably banned. I think that would be the cooler one.
Banned to 1.
Yeah, banned to 1.
Ronan Toten, please, God, please.
Please wind up carriers and mighty. Why are you
Mighty.
still on the ban list?
Dude, all those cards from like that era, just bring them back. Bring them back.
I have to take 2 level 3 monsters, overlay them, just summon a monster from my deck. Chris drawing summons 2 from their deck, and it's a graveyard effect.
I think the Konami people just overlook cards. They're like, what does this card do?
Oh,
We
yeah,
don't want
this
to
is
look it
on
up
the
right
ban
now.
list?
It's irrelevant. It's like,
Do you think this card?
Why is that card banned? There's got to be a reason. Don't worry about it.
yeah, don't worry about it. We'll look at it later. I really think so, man. There's no reason some of these cards should be banned.
Have you guys looked into Alliance Insight at all?
Besides the Malice and Rising
I've been
cards
summoning
now.
Eddie. Actually, I've been summoning Snowlet. But
Well, I can't talk about much then. You guys got to go back and do your research.
I know the cards
There's
are
some
crazy.
cool cards out of that set, man.
Are we getting more of the ritual cards?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
haven't
not
announced-
confirmed,
yeah.
but I think it's like.
I assume we are.
I feel like
Yeah.
that deck has the potential to be very good.
I mean, it is very.
Yeah, but
it's
I mean, like-
all right now. It's not. I played against one at the YCS, and it was like,
You should get the cards now. If you want to get the deck, get it now.
yeah.
It's an exclusive, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
is.
feel like it's the best exclusive we've had in a long time.
I think. I don't know. See, I was thinking about it the other day. I don't know what card they could give that deck to make it better. I can see them giving it a lot of stuff that just like doesn't fix the problem of the deck.
It needs okay. So
Give it a Hovness.
I personally think the problem with every ritual deck is that it requires you have to have 2 cards to do anything.
Yep.
The thing about ritual decks is they're all 2-card combos, and I complain about Yu-Gi-Oh being only 1-card starters. Every deck is only 1-card starters now, but you got to give them a 1-card starter. You know, but like in 2015, we had decks had a 1-card starter. We had Door Guide, we had Shaddoll Fusion, we had like 1-card starters.
So
I think it needs a card that can start its turn by itself.
So I think it's Rush Duel. their ritual monsters come from their extra deck.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
That is cool.
So imagine
Any more hand
if
traps I can play in my voiceless
they
deck?
changed the game mechanic of ritual, and it said that you could include up to 3 rituals in your extra deck. You can also still put them in your main deck, but they could take up 3 extra deck spots.
What if it was to keep the clunkiness of the ritual decks, because that's kind of what limits their power to some degree? You can have up to X many ritual monsters in your extra deck equal to the number that are in your deck. So, like, you have to play, like, 3 and 3 or, like, 4 and 4 or something. Or, like, I don't know, something like that.
That would be pretty cool. I think that would, like, change deck building a lot. Or if, like, you could get ritual... Like, if you... Like, you could, like... At the start of the game, reveal a ritual monster... Like, reveal ritual monsters from your side deck, and you can play them from outside of the game. Right? That'd be kind of cool. But they still take up... They take up side deck slots. It's like Magic did that a few years ago with Companions.
Yeah.
And they were very toxic. But... obviously, because they had, like, a big, like, deck building, like... constraint where it was like you could only play even cost mana cost, and you get to start with this card with your hand, but instead you could just like ritual summon this card from your side deck would be kind of cool, or extra deck or whatever.
Make a ritual deck. I mean, that'd probably break it a little too much. I don't know, to not take up extra deck space, but have a ritual deck.
Just give us 20 extra deck slots.
No, it could up the cap to 20. But the last 5 are exclusive for ritual monsters.
Okay, if you guys could come out with... So, they usually do master rules every so years. We haven't had some in a few years because I think the game mechanics of the game they're happy with. But if you could change one, like, key component about Yu-Gi-Oh!, what would it be?
Start with 6 cards going second.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, I think if whenever they decide to do a new master rule, I think instead of drawing for turn going second, you should start with 6 cards in your hand. Because you still have the same amount of cards, it just gives you that extra chance of having another hand trap if you're going second.
Yeah. Aren't you the person that's complaining about
a bunch
of hand traps?
No, I don't. I like hand traps. I love them. I just think that would fix
I don't know about love them.
Love them strong.
No, I was saying that's what people... I feel like that would fix everyone that is complaining about hand traps. I want to play 60 cards so I can play 40 hand traps in my deck. What do you mean?
So if you... Like, in your ideal world, you open with 6 cards, you just don't draw for turn, right?
Yeah.
So you don't go up to 7? Okay.
So neither player's first turn draws.
Correct. But the second player isn't at the disadvantage because... Like, I don't think either player's at a disadvantage at that point. Because you're getting the same amount of cards, you're just not going to draw the nib for your 6th card, you know?
I think that... I like that, I think.
It's cool.
I think if I had the opportunity to change...
That can also... Hold on, sorry. That could also change the amount of non-engine you play in your deck because your math is higher of drawing, so you won't have 30 hand traps, you'd have like 20.
Yeah, that's
hopefully
true.
A lot less. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think that would be a good change. I'm not sure how I would change it, but I think it would be cool if you could sacrifice things in deck building to gain an advantage in another area. So, like, let's say you could sacrifice side deck spots for extra deck.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be cool. Or if you could sacrifice extra deck cards for side deck slots. I think that would be cool. Like, let's say...
Shout out Flu, bro. I got a 30-card side deck.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, for example, like, if you are playing one of those, shitty decks like Monarchs or Flu or, one of those,
Throw a shade
you're
straight at Luke, bro.
You're entering the tournament with a disadvantage.
I didn't play Monarchs.
You know what I mean? Like, you're entering... You cannot access your extra deck, so you should be able to get an advantage elsewhere.
Be cool.
That would be sick. I
think that'd be really cool. I think you would see, like, a lot of unique deck building. I think a lot of people would think, oh my god, I would just have a 30-card extra deck. No, you wouldn't.
You'd have like an 18 or 19 card extra deck, and you'd sacrifice a few side deck slots.
Yeah, the rule would be like, you could only have your side and extra deck must contain 30
cards. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could like have 5 extra deck cards if you only needed 5. 3 ABC Mustard Dragon. That's all I need. Whatever, and then you have your 20 or 25 side deck cards, which I don't know why you would ever need that many side deck cards, but maybe you do.
You just really don't like Malice, man.
Oh my god.
Now, the problem with that, though, I feel like would be smokescreen.
Yeah,
Like,
but here's
I
the
think it's fun. I
thing.
think it's sick.
But if you don't have an extra deck, like how you smoke screen again, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean,
Flew into Monarchs, baby.
Ooh.
I was thinking like some kind of like aggro deck into like a trap deck.
I mean, yeah, why not? Side to Tempai in the lab.
You only need 3 synchros. That's all you gotta have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be sick.
I think it'd be cool.
It would
All
be
right,
cool.
What about you, Luke?
I honestly don't know. I haven't put much thought into what I would want a master rule to be.
It's been a long time since we had a master rule.
It has. I think it was 2018. I don't know. It would probably be something. I just don't know.
It's probably gonna be something dumb like mulliganing.
I don't think Mulligan's dumb.
I think it is. I think it would be bad in this game.
I don't know.
They'd have to have like a down, like a repercussion of doing it, like
It would have to
drawing
be
one
big.
less card or something.
It would have to be a big one.
I wouldn't mind.
that's
a
pretty
mulligan.
big.
That is big.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a mulligan if it were that. If it were, you can only mulligan as the first player, and you draw it down to 4 cards, and you only have 1 mulligan. I think that would be fine because there are hands where you draw like Node Ryzeal and 4 hand traps and just can't play. And I would rather have the option to neg myself one and potentially be able to play than just losing, because you just do that in Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's like, I think it's really risky in Yu-Gi-Oh compared to like other games, like Alestrals. You can mulligan as many times as you want, but you have to pay 2 life every time, and you only have
I mean,
20.
you can only do it. I guess you could do it 5 times. All right, I'd rather have 0 cards than this Molcharmy in my head. Like,
I mean, you're playing Snake Eyes Ash, you mulligan 4 times, you get Ash, you summon it, and you're cooking. You know?
yeah, you're cooking until you get Valor and Pass on nothing.
What else could he possibly have? Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's got 6 cards now. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. Should I stop the only card he has in his possession or not? Like,
yeah, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh is such a.
I mean, the downgrade, like, I think mulliganing once going first isn't that big a deal. Because there's a lot of hands where you draw like a brick. You kind of have like a 4-card hand anyways.
Yeah.
But when you get to a 3-card hand and a 2-card hand, like.
What if the penalty was so big that it was like you only have 1 mulligan and you mulligan down to 3? Like, do you think anybody would do it? I mean, you'd have to do it sometimes.
Yeah, you have to.
But that could be a potentially realistic
It
mulligan
definitely
for
changes
Yu-Gi-Oh.
how decks are built, too. Like, people like, I don't want to play the bricks, so they cut out a whole bunch of these cards in their deck. But, like, if they're mulliganing, they
But
can.
you still wouldn't want to play the bricks if you're losing 40% of your hand.
I mean, if you're, like, let's say you're playing against Malice, right? You open your hand, you're going second, and you just don't open a hand trap. Are you going to mulligan to 4, open your hand, there's no Lancia, do you mulligan to 3, try to get Lancia?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I'm going on my 2 if I can get Ice Lancia.
I think it would have to be
Only going first?
only the turn 0 player can mulligan. I feel like
I think like that's a huge bit disadvantage for going second, though.
Well, going second has an extra card.
Well, that if they did both.
if they did both, that would be kind
No,
of
I'm
cool.
saying, like, you still have the extra card if you draw.
Maybe both players can mulligan. Yeah, maybe that is too big of an advantage.
Because like going first is already
Or,
good
like,
enough.
what
we
if
don't
you,
need going
what if
first
you
better.
mulligan? I was going to say, what if you mulligan, but your opponent gets to draw an extra card? And you go down a card?
Nah, two card disadvantage, or like
That's
a
too much.
2 card disadvantage if you're losing 2 cards isn't the same as a 2 card disadvantage if you're losing one and your opponent's gaining one. Like, that's crazy.
They only need 1 Lancia, brother. Like, they only need 1 Foalos. You know, like
Yeah, that's a lot. I feel like that they could make a version of that. That would be fair, though. I think
God,
that
I'm mulliganing for Shifter.
I
You're playing Feast with Ryzeal. Good luck, buddy. I'll go to 3 cards. Dormouse, Shifter, Metal Tronus. This game is over.
I really think that mulligan taking your starting cards from 5 down to 3 would be fair. I think that I'm locking in. That would be what I want.
I think that'd be cool.
Is you can mulligan one time and it takes it from 5 to 3. You draw 3 as your mulligan, because that would limit the this hand isn't perfect. I could draw down to 4 and have like a much better hand. It would limit that and make it more so focused on this hand is not playable, I'm going to draw down to 3 to try to get a playable.
Because I was going to lose regardless.
Yeah, I think that's what mulligans should be used for, as opposed to like hyper optimizing your hand. And I think that if it puts you at that big of a disadvantage, that's what it would be used for. So I'm going to say I want my master rule to be that mulligan once, and it go from 5 to 3, starting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
I think all those would be cool. I think any master rule that just allows people to play Yu-Gi-Oh more, it's just good.
It is.
I think the way that we kind of deck build now is that's one thing I think's cool about Celestials. You can assign different spirits and different things, and it makes deck building way different than other games. And I think Yu-Gi-Oh could have the potential of doing something like that.
What if they made it to where you had to have 20 monsters, 10 spells, and 10 traps in every deck?
I think that would be so bad for deck building. I would not like that.
It would be awful.
I wouldn't like that either. Because imagine if because spells are used to be the most powerful thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, but now it's just monsters are the most powerful.
And I mean, you guys remember the only monsters Sekka's Light deck, where it was 37 monsters and 3 Sekka's Lights. It's the BA deck. I'm like, that's cool. That would never be able to exist again. Any version of that. Labyrinth would never be able to exist.
Thank God.
Furniture Labyrinth might. They don't play that many traps.
Yeah, they don't play spells.
Fair.
They don't play any spells. They'd have to play the Extrav and all of the.
Yeah.
I mean, they could play the Labyrinth spells, I guess.
I think one of my favorite things about Yu-Gi-Oh is the freedom that Yu-Gi-Oh has.
Yep.
Where you can.
You don't got to main all the mana and the lands. And all
and I don't know. Elestrals is similar in the deck building aspect, and it's I played Argent Saga a lot. In Argent Saga, it's you had to play your main color plus X amount of your subcolor. So and it had a number. So it was 8 of this color or 10 of this color, and your spirit had the number on it, which is cool and it promotes deck building, but it's less free. In Weiss Schwarz, you have to play cards that match the colors of the cards that you're playing. Yeah. It's that's cool. You can deck build however you want, but you have to respect these colors. In Yu-Gi-Oh, it's sling it all in there, baby. You can do whatever you want.
Put it in your deck.
Yeah, which I really like. That's one of my favorite things about Yu-Gi-Oh. So
I agree.
I wouldn't want to restrict that.
I guess we could wrap it up here.
Yeah, I think so. Let us know what you think, what you would want the master rule to be, or if you agree with us. Which I think any of these would be
pretty cool.
Fine. Yeah, and. Yeah, so I guess the last thing I want to end off on, good luck Nashville this weekend. I am personally not going to be there. I'm going to be python hunting, or I guess Saturday we're going to be fishing in Key Largo. But we're going to be in Florida, me and Connor.
I'll be at Goodlettsville Regional. Come say hi. Come say hello.
I will not be.
He will also not be.
I'm broke.
Good luck to everybody that goes. If you guys agree with me and think that Guud Gaming sucks, you should check the description of the video. Get a Guud Gaming sucks shirt.
There's a lot of people who thinks we suck.
There's a few. There's at least 3 or 4 or 5.
They hate us because they ain't us. Shout out to that movie.
Yeah, you should get one, dude. I hear they're really high quality. I hear everybody loves them. That's just what I'm hearing. I hear everybody thinks they're great. I think they're great. Isaiah thinks they're great. Logan might even think they're great.
Yes.
Or get a Guud Gaming hoodie.
Yes.
It's still a little chilly outside. Guud Gaming hat. Man, just, help your boys out.
If you want to learn how to play Elestrals, message me on Twitter. I got you. Isaiah. And Big Papi Yami. He'll teach you.
I can try.
He knows how to play.
I'm a pro at this game now, so I can teach you. Don't hit me up, boys.
He just said don't hit him up.
Yeah,
so
he did.
Do it.
He did. Don't.
Hit me up, boys.
He doesn't have a Twitter.
I do have a Twitter.
I didn't know that.
I don't have a Twitter either. I have an X.
Oh, my bad.
I have an X account. Hit me up at Guud Gaming.
Okay, that's our Twitter.
I have one. If you search my name on X, you'll find an account with my name.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. Follow him on Twitter, guys.
It may not be him. It's just a name.
It's me.
It's actually DJ.
Okay.
Just Jabin.
Anyway, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Yeah, we would see you next week, but I'm gonna be catching some snakes. So we'll see you guys later. Peace. Get a Gaming Sucks shirt or 2. Get one for your son and your daughter and your cousin
And your dog.
and your friend.
Send me a picture of your dog wearing a Guud Gaming Sucks hoodie, please. Shirt, please.
If you message me on X, because I have an account, and request it, I'll make a dog one. I will make a dog shirt. Don't
worry, I'm messaging him.
But not cats. We don't like cats here at Good Gaming.